As the new fiscal year begins for states and municipalities July 1st, many are already on the verge of total breakdown. 2 million unemployed lose their benefits this week, destitute of help from the federal government, and are left to fend for themselves or get aid from the already bankrupt states. Meanwhile, Barney Frank touts the greatest financial reform since the Great Depression. While on Wall Street, celebrations are made. This is a victory for us. The same day, the frankly dud financial reform bill was introduced by Frank's conference committee, the Senate failed to approve $25 billion in additional Medicaid funding for states, causing losses of up to $1.3 billion in states' budgets, as they scrambled to cover the costs of the unexpected Medicaid shortfall. As unemployment rises, more people qualify for Medicaid, putting greater pressure on states, while tax income falls. For example, in Lawrence, Massachusetts, 25 police officers were laid off yesterday, as well as 85 other city workers. In Malden, Massachusetts, the mayor submitted $750,000 each in cuts for both the police and fire departments, which would result in layoffs of 10 police and 15 firefighters. In Maywood, California, the entire city workforce has been laid off, including police, to be outsourced to a neighboring city. As our cities disintegrate, the President and Congress fail to take action, choosing instead to defend the corrupt financial interests that caused the collapse. Where was Barney Frank while this was going on? Sources report that while the conference committee was meeting, Barney was holding private consultations with White House officials, including White House Representative Dan Turton and Deputy Secretary Neil Volm, to destroy Senator Lincoln's ban on derivatives, leaving 90% of derivative trading in place. Besides being a breach of separation of powers, this is a breach of Congress's responsibility for the citizens' welfare. President Obama and leading members of Congress have made it clear they intend to defy the loudly stated demands of the population, who are now fully in support of the revival of Glass-Steagall, and staunchly defend the corrupt London Wall Street parasites. This is essentially an act of war against the U.S. population. We must rid the nation of its London-directed enemies, including President Obama and Barney Frank. President Obama will act to prevent any solution and must be forced out of office in time for the solution to be adopted. We must enact Glass-Steagall legislation in the next weeks to put the system through bankruptcy so we can restore a real economy. The system is melting down now. The time to act is short.
So here you have Rachel Brown, candidate for the 4th District in Massachusetts, really taking responsibility and leadership for the conditions that are affecting not just her district but her state. While in the meantime, Barney Frank, we still have no word that Barney Frank will stand up next to Rachel Brown for a debate on precisely these issues which she's called him out on, including in her Brookline event earlier this week, her emergency town hall meeting, where she frankly told Barney and told his constituency that he had lied to them, that he had never supported the Glass-Steagall, and that he was still defending the interests of the high priests of finance, and at the expense, as we're seeing more and more, of the people and the people of Massachusetts.
Sure, and that's the point that LaRouche drove home. Lyndon LaRouche made a statement directly to this emergency meeting of Rachel's campaign on the subject of the fact that Barney is the biggest obstacle inside the Congress, standing in the way of the necessary measures that are going to save the lives of millions of Americans. And the response to LaRouche's statements was very electric at this emergency meeting, and also the video on the lies that Barney told in his debate with Rachel is gaining wider and wider circulation.
But we really shouldn't hold back in blaming Barney Frank for the conditions that are being experienced more broadly across the cities and the states, because it was back in 2007, 2008, when our organization mobilized for the Homeowners and Bank Protection Act, which was essentially, it embodied the exact principle of Glass-Steagall for bankruptcy reorganization, protection of commercial banks and homeowners.
And a firewall to protect the citizens from the collapsing financial system.
Yeah, exactly. And it was him, from his position in the Congress, on the Finance Committee, where he blocked that from which had immense traction in the cities and states, and he stopped that from happening. And now you're seeing the effects of his existence